It's currently 9:17 p.m. Today, me and my mom went to the Renaissance Festival, and we were there roughly from 1:30 p.m. to about 6:30 p.m. As we were leaving, we happened to briefly encounter the Queen. I didn't really recognize her at the time, as I only saw her from a distance during the deadly joust. Performance, which was the last performance me and my mom attended before we left the Renaissance Festival, making a brief stop at the gift shop as we were walking out. Back to my mom's car, with which my mom drove herself and me to the Renaissance Festival. We left for it around 11:30 in the morning. 11:15 in the morning. Though a handful of minutes into the drive, we went back to make sure the stove was off. We decided not to buy anything from the gift shop, as nothing there really interested us. Though we did buy other things while we were at the Renaissance Festival, including a hat with a red feather edition, from a hat shop early on to enhance my pirate costume, made from parts of old Halloween costumes. We both dressed up for the Pirate Weekend event that was ongoing at the Renaissance Festival at the time. There was a good number of people at the Renaissance Festival at the time, some of them dressed up for the festival. Not all of them being pirates, but a lot of them were. I recall some others were dressed as knights or otherwise warriors, and others still as barmaids. There were no points in which the festival felt crowded to me and my mom. Today was a typical hot and sunny summer day. It didn't feel uncomfortably hot to me, though by the time I was back in my mom's car, I was glistening with sweat and felt that my pirate costume would have to be washed. Early on, during our time at the Renaissance Festival, I put some rub-on sunscreen my mom had brought on my face, and doing so gave me, as one festival goer put it, she said I had a ghostly appearance. For the most part, me and my mom looked around some of the shops. Of artisans for the Renaissance Festival. We walked around and explored the festival. Being somewhat hilly and having been constructed from a wooded area with trees being scattered throughout, it's in a pretty rural and remote area. So that you won't see any modern buildings in the skyline. It's meant to be a recreation of a medieval village, somewhat, while also being full of fun experiences. Such as when me and my mom attended a juggling performance. Our first performance we attended during the day and new for this year's Renaissance Festival. It was a pretty enjoyable show. He was funny and very talented at juggling. And after the show, he held a plate spinning masterclass that I participated in which he began with the easy way to spin the plate and then gradually went over plate spinning tricks, starting with the basics and ending with tricks that were a little advanced. I participated in that masterclass requesting help for pretty much every trick he went over. And he gave me help each time. I recall I was the oldest student of the master class, with everyone else being a kid. And I did my best to replicate each trick he went over in order to a fun and new experience. I ended up deciding to bring the plate and stick home for $10, though more as a souvenir. I got it autographed by the performer. Same for when I earlier got a custom-made pinned button from him for $5. During the master class, with some practice, I was able to get the hang of all the basic tricks, but not the last few a little more advanced tricks. But what matters is that I tried my best in order to get everything out of a new experience and a new good memory. A little later, me and my mom attended an acrobatics performance. And right before it started, a traveling beef jerky merchant came to me and my mom's front row seats on the stage. Me and my mom were fortunate enough to get front row seats for every performance we attended, which I recall it was just a few. Except for when we happened to stumble across another juggling performance, pretty much at the very beginning of our time at the Renaissance Festival. Though even then, we weren't that far from the stage. And when we came across that performance, it was pretty much at the grand finale. When the walking beef jerky merchant came around to me and my mom right before the acrobatics performance began, I got from him 2 pieces of beef jerky, one original and one spicy. They came wrapped in wax paper, and we wrapped the wax paper into our map for the Renaissance Festival. While at the Renaissance Festival, I had roughly 2 alcoholic beverages, essentially 2 plastic pint glasses of beer. I first got a pint of the King's Ale, and then while at the second floor of the pub from which me and my mom watched the Deadly Joust, I got a pint of Black Heart Stout, though I got a little extra in another plastic pint glass, as when the male employee for the Renaissance Festival in charge of filling drink orders went to fill my order of a pint of Black Heart Stout. The keg of Black Heart Stout ran out, though thankfully he had another keg of Black Heart Stout. And he gave me what there happened to be in the original plastic pint glass for free. along with my full pint of Black Heart Stout. Overall, the whole time me and my mom were there, the Renaissance Festival gave off joyful vibes. I'm pretty sure we walked a few miles today while we were exploring the Renaissance Festival. Though today wasn't our first time there. I recall first waking up for today around 1 in the morning. Before going back to bed around 3:15 in the morning after I finished editing the July 19, my dinner video project in Camtasia 2019. Rendering that video project file into a 1080p quality MP4 and then starting the upload of that MP4 file to my YouTube channel. I woke up naturally as I did around 1 in the morning. Again around 5:15 in the morning, and then pretty much spent the hours after that point, prior to me and my mom leaving for the Renaissance Festival, switching a few times from being in my room upstairs to being at my work area between the kitchen and the living room at my mom's place. As I edited the July 20 My Dinner video project in Camtasia 2019, getting to being a little more than halfway done with doing so by the time me and my mom left for the Renaissance Festival. During the drive back home, I recall falling asleep roughly from around 7 p.m. to 7:45 p.m. Around 9:45 in the morning, I had with my first and only cup of plain coffee today some scrambled eggs with some diced green peppers, both prepared by my mom. During pretty much the whole car drive to the Renaissance Festival, me and my mom had a very good conversation about my future plans. And the only food we got at the Renaissance Festival was when me and my mom both got a steak on a steak. We joined two festival goers, one male, one female, at a wooden table we joined after getting permission to do so, and we made some conversation with them as we ate our steak on a steak. And then we encountered those two same festival goers later on the second floor of the pub we watched the Deadly Joust from. My mom brought 5 plastic bottles of Poland Spring branded water for our trip to and back from the Renaissance Festival, with each of us having roughly 1 plastic bottle for the drive to and then the drive back from the Renaissance Festival. Though, as you can't bring food or drinks into the Renaissance Festival, at the same time, we got our steaks on a steak. We also each got a plastic bottle of Nirvana branded water. My mom brought those 5 plastic bottles of water in a blue fabric outside with a black zipper and a black shoulder strap cooler. And in there were also some small aluminum cans of low sodium V8 branded vegetable juice, of which me and my mom had 1 can each right before we left to get tickets for and enter the Renaissance Festival for today by getting out of my mom's car.